Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them in. Talk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me. Then I double up again under their nose. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted. So I'm to one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close. I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke. I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me, they need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea, where they submarine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they will lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them in. Talk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me. Then I double up again under their nose. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted. So I'm to one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close. I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke. I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me, they need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea, where they submarine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they will lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence, then let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie so they overlook me. Then I double up again under their nose. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted. So I'm to wonder if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close. I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke. I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me. They need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea, where they submarine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they would lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence, then let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie so they overlook me. Then I double up again under their nose. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted. So I'm to wonder if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close. I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke. I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me. They need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea, where they submarine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines.
I'm hanging with the boys, man. They're part of the team. Part of the team, man. Gotta tell you, part of the team.
Welcome to Tampa Bay. We fuck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck.
And
What is up? Welcome to the
We're
Loose
live.
Cannons.
We're live, Derek.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, welcome
My
to
bad.
Loose Cannons. I'm your host, Sammer, hanging out with my boys Stanker, Poppy Latte, and of course, the living legend, host of the first ever Buccaneers podcast. Not a Buccaneers podcast, the first ever Buccaneers podcast. It was called What the Buck Podcast. You guys know him as Old School. We know him as Derek, Old School, whatever you want to go by. Welcome back to the Loose Cannons, and for the first time in 2022, man. What's up?
Hey, pleasure to be here. Appreciate you guys extending the invitation and allowing me to chop it up with you guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we needed you. We needed an intervention. Everybody, everybody's fucking freaking out, and we need you here to just slap the shit out of all these people who just are crying in their Cheerios today.
Intervention Monday and then therapy Wednesday with another special. This is going to be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it. So last night, Sunday Night Football, huge matchup. It's much anticipated across the league. The Bucs versus the Chiefs. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl. It's the fucking baby goat nonsense versus the goat. And, everyone's looking forward to it. And not only from that standpoint, Andy Reid, the coaching staff, the Chiefs players, and of course the Chiefs fans looking forward to it. Circled it once the fucking schedule comes out. And you could tell last night that Andy Reid has probably been working on this game plan for like 3-4 weeks, maybe the entire offseason, Derek. Not exactly how we wanted things to go last night, but Can you? Is the sky falling? Is the season over? Are we not in the playoffs? What do we do? What do we do down?
Hold on, Derek. I gotta say, I think I speak for everyone's thing. I hate the Summer Camp. I don't fucking like the Summer Camp.
I rarely go Summer Camp. That's
don't
the thing.
like it.
I give you guys all solos.
Camp. It's fucking stupid.
I give
all
of you solos, and I rarely go Summer Camp. Go ahead, Derek. On Derek Cam.
Well,
Thumbs down in the chat for Summer Camp.
I don't share the hatred of the Summer Cam. I would prefer zero cam. I've always had a face for radio, as we talked about off air. No, as I've gotten older, one of the things you learn, it's funny, I hashtagged this last night about the joke about the old bull and the young bull. What you realize is that NFL season is a marathon, not a sprint. And it seemed from the very beginning, it was the same way last year. As soon as we won the Super Bowl, we got Brady. All of a sudden, there's a generation of Bucs fans that think every game we walk into, we should win 100-0.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We should stomp through. It doesn't matter who we play. And they also believe a couple of other things that I want to call out. And some really smart people seem to be believing this as well, which has got me a little bit sideways. They believe you can just compare one team against another team 3 weeks ago, and they're all the same. They're analogies that are perfect. So I saw someone tweet, and I don't mean to subtweet anyone because I can't remember. It wasn't Ledgered, I don't think. And so I'm not trying to be a dick. But someone was like, this is the same team that lost to the Colts. Hey, that's interesting. It's also water is wet. Who gives a shit? That data is not interesting. How they played against the Colts, you have to take into 1,000 different variables to understand and compare and contrast that. Is it the same team? Yes. Did they give a shit about trying to make up for the fact that they got drummed out of the fucking, stadium at the Super Bowl? Right? This was a chance to get payback for them. Everyone is going to give us their best every fucking week. The Packers are going to give us their best. The Patriots that played them last night, that doesn't make us look worse. If anything, it makes the Packers look worse because they played down to the level of their opposition, which teams do from time to time. Now, to answer your question directly, do I think the sky is falling? No. You break the season into quarters. Everyone, if you talked to him before the season, would have said if we come out of the first 4 games 2-2, that's a win. And then all of a sudden, we come out and win the first 2, and people are like, well, we should be 4-0. In fact, we should probably go 16-0, and then win all of our playoff games and win the Super Bowl by 40.
17
and you hear words like, this is inexcusable. What was that?
It should be 17-0, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry, 17. I'm old, man. You got to remember, I'm old.
No, I'm of the camp that we should go 17-0, but carry on.
So, but you look at that and you're like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Right? You do realize the other team gets paid to play football, right? And not every team is garbage. All of the experts had Miami sucking this year, and all they're doing is beating people from time to time, right? It's if it were easy to predict, Vegas wouldn't be Vegas, folks, right? There is parity. So as I look at this team, are there things I'm disappointed in? Yes. Do I think that our defensive line isn't playing up to the level that they seem to be capable of? Absolutely. Do I think that last night we seem to be playing more off coverage than I would have expected given the way our defensive backs have played? Yeah, especially given the game plan that Kansas City was deploying. They were taking advantage of it. Those are all things that you can adjust, right? But when you look about the game last night, it felt like we got our teeth kicked in. We turned the ball over on the opening kickoff. We essentially had a 10-point swing at that point because you figure your first possession, you should get at least a field goal. And if you look at the way the offense performed, with the exception of the turnovers, there was a pretty good back and forth. Now, you've got the cacophony of we run the ball too much on first down, which if you look at the data, Greg Auman, hats off, out there using data. People don't like it when you use data because they say things like the play calling is terrible, but most of those people couldn't draw a play up if you asked them to, right? Furthermore, we don't know the plays that were called. We don't know what was in the huddle. We don't know what was checked to. We don't know whether we executed the play. The Chiefs came in with a better game plan and beat our team. We have to learn from that. But fortunately for us, it was in the first quarter of the season, right? So in my mind, we've got a talented team that is shown to be talented against other talented opposition. The schedule should be weaker as we go out if the schedule strength holds up, which it seems to so far. Tom Brady is healthy. Our receivers are getting healthier, though I'm concerned about Julio because apparently he was nicked up again last night, and I don't know how you get nicked up when you don't really do shit. So no, the sky is not falling. In my tweet, we were talking about it off air. I do not understand the entitled-ass Buccaneers fans that all of a sudden think we should walk through every team in the NFL as if it's a Madden game. That's not how this shit works, folks. So there's my tirade to open up the show with.
Wow.
Well, especially the Chiefs and the Packers. I mean, you're talking about two of the better quarterbacks, both Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. I mean, you got to expect that it's going to be a challenge. And when you come out and shit the bed, on the opening kickoff and give them all the momentum and then get boat raced for a little while until you get your bearings, I mean, you can play perfect against a team like this and still lose.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you didn't lose on you didn't lose on that first fumble. We didn't lose because we were down 7-0.
You didn't lose on the first fumble, but you definitely lost momentum and confidence, and then that is a part.
It's the old Tyson line. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. We got punched in the mouth, and it was all of a sudden it was like, oh shit. And listen, for everything that we did in the Super Bowl, and it was incredible, and it was like, oh, we got our revenge. Remember how hungry we were? Remember how pissed off we were? Mm-hmm. They were just as pissed that they got their teeth fucking kicked in the Super Bowl, and they wanted to make a statement. They get paid as well. And King Cook said something here. All major keys on defense were not focused at all night. I don't want to hear it because of the hurricane. Nobody's making excuses because of the hurricane. Nobody's making excuses because of play calling. It was shitty. It was a shitty game plan. They played like shit. Nobody's running from that. All we're saying is the season isn't fucking over. It's gonna be okay.
So I don't know King Cook, but the defensive keys actually weren't shitty. Levante David had at least 3 interceptions go through his hands.
Yeah, he did.
Right. He read his keys. Devin read his keys. We had people in the right position, but the other team gets paid too. So if you don't make your tackle, if you don't set your edge properly, or if you get held, which happened quite regularly, and that's, that shit happens, right? Then the outcome is different than what you want. It is rarely the case that it's a catastrophe the way, what was it, years ago we got drummed out by the Raiders like 49-0. That's when you burn the tape on. This one is not a
Thursday Night Football.
This is not a burn the tape. This is not a burn the tape game. This is a go watch the tape, because I saw for the first time since he's been on this team, Vita taking plays off, and I don't know why. Now maybe he was gassed because the defense played 33% more plays, more snaps than they probably should have, right? So it could be legit. I saw JTS getting manhandled, which I have not seen earlier, and I don't want people to pretend that this is something that's been happening all year, because it's not. JTS has played really strong up until this game, right? Logan Hall didn't look as good as he's looked earlier in the season. We had to go to the old blue-collar Nassibs and Nelsons of the world to get energy of the on the front 7, more or less. I thought Devin and Levante played good football. They were just a second behind, right? You look at the damn touchdown pass where he was arguably past the line of scrimmage. He's probably the only quarterback in the league that makes that play, right? There was another play earlier to extend a drive where he did the same thing, where he like flipped it underhanded when he was about to get sacked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, they're just freakish plays, and sometimes the other team just plays better. Man, right? But Brady goes out there, slings it all over the field. People say we run too much. What do we run? 6 running plays? 7? Yeah. We run too much.
3 yards.
Keep banging that drum. Get the fuck out of here.
3 yards rushing.
The thing is that people don't realize is, like, although it's a different roster, the Chiefs top to bottom, they were embarrassed last time they were in Tampa. They don't forget shit like that. Andy Reid, this guy is not a slouch. This is one of the best play callers ever in the history of the NFL. Okay? He knows how to call a game. And when his offense gets embarrassed to the tune of only 3 field goals last time he faced Todd Bowles, it's him and Todd Bowles going back and forth. You're gonna lose them and you're gonna win them. This whole expectation that once you figure out the recipe that it's always gonna work. It's not the case. I mean, any play caller is eventually gonna lose against a better or an equivalent play caller, again, defensive, offensive, all that kind of shit. But again, they just looked like they wanted it more. They were hungry. They were a bit embarrassed. They were coming in with a chip on their shoulder. We were kind of slow, and it looked to me like the game plan that we thought they were going to come out with was different. And at that point, you just can't just flip the page and have a completely different game plan. Like Latte and I were talking about before the show here. Like, we expected them to do something. It didn't go out that way. You don't have 3 game plans when you go into a game unless you're Bill Belichick. And that, you just go with what you got. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. We got beat.
Donnie's come out here and said it. You can't just make a game plan all week and say,
you know
what? That's not working. Throw it all out.
When it's 21-3, there is no more game plan. No. It's survival mode at that point. Brian Shaw brought it up in the chat. Yeah, we only ran the ball 6 times because we were down by so many. Of course, right? Out of necessity, we stopped running the ball. We needed points in chunks quickly. So yes, we weren't milking the clock. We needed the time on the clock. So yeah, they went in with a game plan. Didn't take very long for us to have to go to emergency game plan.
Two things I want to say really quick too. I saw in the chat, Sue. He hasn't been signed anywhere. He hasn't been signed here. He's not coming back. Okay? Move on from that, guys. He's not coming back. He's not playing anywhere else for a reason as well. He doesn't want to play. He made it really clear that he barely came back the year previous. He doesn't need to play. He wanted to focus on his entrepreneurial stuff off field, and the guy's a freaking genius. He's not playing anymore. He don't want to play. Trust me. They offered. You don't want to play. Mm-hmm. And the Gronk thing. Gronk's not coming out of retirement.
Nope.
Okay? Move on. Move on.
He might in the playoffs, but he ain't coming back anytime soon.
Maybe by miracle, but as of right now, Gronk is not coming back.
They're looking for a savior, bro. They feel like
we're fine. Right. Stank, you looked at me somewhere right before in the middle of second quarter, and you said something that kind of resonated with me. It looks like a team that hasn't played together. Well, yeah, no shit. All of our weapons have been hurt, and as much chemistry as you build every year to year, Brady says every year, it's a different squad. It's different. You're just doing different shit, period. And can we stop with the Byron Leftwich shit? Please, I'm fucking tired of it, old school. I really am. Everybody wants to criticize, fire Byron. And I'm not defending Byron, but goddamn it, every year Byron's been here at a top 5 offense. Every year. Whether he runs it on first down, whether you don't like the fucking play calling, it's top 5. We end up with a top 5 offense. I don't know what else you want.
We don't have Patrick Mahomes. We have Tom Brady. We're going to run an offense that fits Tom Brady.
The only thing I will say to that, Latte, is look, Byron completely not he deserves criticism, and he's not running.
That's fine.
And the only difference is that there is no BA here now. So this offense and this team, of course, are going to be a Todd Bowles type of team. So there's differences. This is not the same team. It's not the same offense. It's not the same approach. There's a different guy in the locker room yelling at everybody and, praising everybody. It's a totally different team, like you're saying. Byron needs to be better, for sure. But, again, it's not like they're running the same thing from last year or the year before that, or even when we had Jameis and we were top 5 offense or whatever the fuck we were with 30 goddamn interceptions. It's still, this is not the same type of shit. I want to make that clear, but yeah, I absolutely think that Byron can be better. As much as the defense sucked last night, it's just one of I feel like I have to give them benefit of the doubt. They've been good up to this point. They had a bad game plan, bad matchup. It happened. The only thing I'm concerned about, and Derek, I want to get your take on it. Why can't we fucking tackle running backs all of a sudden? And how did we go from just a dominant run defense for 3-4 years now to now gashed almost every single game, 6-7 yards a carry? Last night and against the Packers, it really, really hurt. But last night more than ever, they had I think almost 200 yards rushing against us. And they're not supposed to be this stout run team by any stretch of the imagination, especially up front.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how our fundamentals are broken down in the interior of the defensive line. And I'm reticent to give the credit to Sue because I wasn't a Sue guy. He played well when he was here, no doubt about it. But I don't think there's anything magical about what he did when he was here. And I do think that Nunez Roches does a good job. I think Hicks, when he was not injured, did a good job. But we are not as stout as we were at the point of attack. And I think that that's one of the things you always end up falling into the trap of thinking it's about effort. Like I kept tweeting last night, it's about busting people in the mouth. Kansas City is a finesse team that ran through us. Whoever number 10 is, I can't remember his name, the rookie kid that took Tyreek Hill's numbers, damn you, I'm aware of this. That's a grown-ass man who ran through a bunch of cats last night and didn't give a shit. At some point, our team has to look at that film, our defense, and I believe they will. This is a team with a lot of pride for good reasons. But Barrett comes out the week, during the week says, well, this offensive line doesn't look any different. I expect we're going to do real well. And he gets blanked. He gets the big 0 burger put on him. And he wasn't really an impact. They were chopping him left and right. They were hitting him because they were tired of hearing their shit. Tackling is about want to. That's all it is. It's a fundamental. Blocking and tackling are want to. And so that comes down to effort and execution. That's going to be on Bowles, and Bowles will take that up. But to your point earlier about Byron, and I want to make sure that I'm clear about something. When I say things like entitled ass fans and we can't win all the games, it's not that I think anyone's beyond reproach or beyond question. Everyone should, when you lose, should be like, well, shit, what could we have done better? What could I have done better as a play caller? What could I have done better as a wide receiver, as a guard, right? That's all what you do. But when you take the the far extreme of that and think that it's as simple as, oh, well, just call this play that I remember from Madden all the time, or just be in press all the time, or just be. It's not that easy. I promised you guys. I promise you. Even at the lower levels that I played, and coached in, it's really complicated. I think people think this is really simple, and it's not. There are certain things that seem simple and obvious, and I know a lot of you guys hate the fade to Mike Evans, and I know the fade has fallen out of popularity. Booger McFarland hates the fade.
I love.
If I got Mike Evans,
love the
I
fade,
love the fade.
sir. We called it all night.
Anytime you're in the green zone, just throw the fucking fade, babe. He's gonna get it.
Dude, it's a 3-route option, right? It's a fade, slant, fade, stop combo. And if you got a quarterback and a receiver that know how to read each other, that's the call. That's the choice. It's leverage dictated. If you leverage inside, I'm going to the fade. If you leverage head up or outside, I may go to the slant. If I think I can just debo your ass, I'm going to go to the fade stop. Mike Evans is a mismatch against every goddamn corner in this league. He should have 1 trillion touchdowns. They should rename the Hall of Fame for the guy, right? But anyway, I digress. The point is, when I say these things, it's not that I think the fans shouldn't be mad and shouldn't want more and shouldn't expect more. But damn it, man, check your tone sometimes. We live through shit. We are not guaranteed anything. We're not guaranteed these wins. These are the glory days. We have players we give a shit about who can literally go out and hang 60 on a team, can shut people down. And it doesn't happen every time. And if it's going to not happen, I'd rather happen in the first 4 games than in the last 4 games.
Hey, old school, would you say it's fair to say that we've been breaking in this offense since week 1? I mean, you had, 3-4 new starters on the offensive line, including the tight ends. And then you get these injuries and you're now breaking in, you're bringing in your backup receivers. It's kind of hard to run what you run when you have all these new pieces and everybody has, they're learning on the fly. So maybe it's not that Byron's not calling the right plays. He just can't call the plays he wouldn't normally necessarily call, because you got a fucking Cole Beasley off the fucking couch out there catching passes 1 week. He doesn't even know the 10th of the playbook. Well, and then, this week that, we get our guys back, but they're fucking rusty, right?
But some of that stink, though, I think the criticism of Byron, which I'm not saying fire the guy by any stretch of the imagination.
I've been very critical of Byron.
We're not saying don't criticize. It's just the idiots are saying fire him. I'm like,
that's
been a top 5 offense for the last 3 years. Like,
that's a stupid.
You got a top 5 offense with Jameis Winston.
But my thing with Byron, especially this year, okay, because there is no BA necessarily doing this, I can't look at a game outside of the Dallas Cowboys game and understand what the approach was. Like, what was the game plan? What are you trying to expose? What are you trying to
I think it was pretty obvious. I think it was very obvious. He was protecting that new line, trying to run the ball.
That's not a game plan. But that's not.
That is a game plan.
I'm saying, what are you attacking? I know, but on offense, you have to attack now.
New center, new left guard.
Doesn't matter.
New right guard.
I'm not talking about that.
New tight ends.
What are you attacking? And that's my problem, is that you can't tell clearly what that is, whether they're not executing. What is he calling? We don't know that shit, obviously. So we only know like 1/4 of the equation. But that's, I think, what the biggest thing I have is with Byron. And I kind of hijacked your answer there, old school, but go ahead, man.
I think it's a good point. I can piggyback a little bit, and a lot of this is going to be conjecture. And I yield to the guys who go back and watch the All-22, like Ledyard and others. And we should all be following those cats, whether we agree with it or don't. If you're not going to put the time in on the film, then shut the fuck up, because they do. And they're going to draw their conclusions from it, and we should all learn from that, even if we don't necessarily agree on first blush. But when you look at the roster we've had out there, one of the things that Byron has not seemed to implement anecdotally, because I do not go back and watch all 22 anymore like I used to. So I'm not arguing this from a position of power, right? We're not doing a lot of the pre-snap motion. I love pre-snap motion. The Chiefs use a lot of pre-snap motion. Pre-snap motion forces the defense to declare things and allows a quarterback like Brady or Mahomes, any good quarterback, to know things and to adjust their primaries, right? We don't do that right now. Now, why don't we do that? Well, we have had a revolving door because of injuries, and maybe people just aren't ready to do that. Furthermore, when you're motioning a lot like that, quite often you adjust your protections as well. And so if your offensive line is sketchy and has problems with protection shifts, maybe that's an issue too. So he could be doing this with one hand tied behind his back. And if so, what you do is you simplify and you go, okay, we're going to run these 10 or 15 plays. We're going to run them better. We're going to make it an execution issue, right? We're just going to out-execute you. And guess what? We haven't been able to out-execute people. Now, when we do get up, like the Chiefs, and every team does this, and I don't understand it. Even if they show too high safeties, if you put Mike out wide, they're not cheating over there enough. Now, the Chiefs adjusted a bit and would cheat him over, but that's just looking at the surface tablet and setting them up. Because if you do that, then you've got the skinny seam open, right? And John Gruden used to love doing that. West Coast offenses love doing that. You drag the safety out to the side and you run the tight end in behind it. I mean, you let the tight end eat there. I think that we can continue to do that. Where I'm going to go back to is Byron is smart. Byron is a guy who's always been considered in head coaching conversation, same as Eric Bieniemy, right? These are guys who understand the game. And I know I did this for years, guys. When I say these things, when I say that, it's not this simple. When I started the podcast in 2005 or whatever the fuck it was, right? I'm like, this is so stupid. How could they be so dumb? This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Because I was an ignorant jagoff, right? Mm-hmm. As I got older, I realized how little I knew. I promise you, Byron Leftwich has forgotten more football than all of us talking and all of us listening will ever know. Right? Just go ahead and let that wash over you for a second. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get mad at a play call. That doesn't mean you can't think he's a bonehead for running the ball too much. Like, those are all legitimate things. But look at the data. Greg Allman went out there and tweeted the running stats and the passing stats. And, of course, I was a dick last night to my man NFL Philosophy, Joe, because I love him. But he and I disagree right now on the run-pass thing. We start passing the ball, and what happens? You go past Happy, and he gets hit from behind and fumbles the ball. Well, that's what happens sometimes when you pass the ball, right? Your protection's got to be really, really solid. There's more risk. So if you're mitigating risk, you run the ball. That's what you do, except for when you fumble it, and then it's not so good. So I think that to the opening question, we're going to be okay. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be upset and want things to get better. That's okay. But please drink a little bit more. Right? It's a sedative. Don't do any stimulants.
Derek,
right?
big fact here too, man. Last time we lost to the Chiefs in the regular season, we didn't lose another game in the regular season, and we ended up with the Super Bowl ring. So you know what? I think at this point, like Todd Bowles is playing 3D chess. He's like, let's go out and lose this game. Lose it.
I tweeted that out last night.
Make it look like we tried a little bit. Lose the game, and then from here on out, we're not going to lose a single regular season game because that's just how it works around here.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the quarter breakdown, Dungy did it. I know that Stank, I've almost gone at you on Twitter when you talk about if you want to know what Dungy Ball is like, look at this, as if Dungy Ball was a bad thing. Dungy saved this damn franchise, so you can take that shit down the road.
Okay, first of all, when I say that, that's not a criticism of Tony Dungy. I lived those years with you. He is a savior. I love the man. What I'm trying to let people know is how fucking stressful those games were.
Oh yeah.
Sitting there on the edge of your seat when a field goal can change, the game, like that gave me coronary, dude. So that's what I'm saying.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But the breakdown of a season into these quarters, obviously it's thrown sideways with the 17. Sam, we're good calling the math earlier, but still the concept of breaking it into chunks, we talked about it before. It's not about the season. It's always about this game. You can only think about this game. So what we have to do is go back into this game, look at where we are right now, early, with our division mates, and see what's going on. And who wins at the end is always who comes together and gets healthy at the right time. So it is a marathon, not a sprint. And I hope that the team can learn from this kind of a loss, because the score didn't look as bad as at the end as it felt during the game. And when you go back and look at the drive charts, you're like, well, shit, we were kind of going back and forth. If it weren't for turnovers, this game's a whole lot closer than it actually felt. Like I wanted to see the punter for Kansas City. That poor guy would come out and just stretch out in case they needed to borrow him.
Did you see that? Did you notice that too?
Yeah. Dude would come out on a random third down and pretend to punt like he was bored. But when I went back and looked at the drive charts, I'm like, well, shit, it was kind of a tit for tat situation. We were kind of going back and forth for a while there. But I don't know. You just got too much talent on this team to see them fold up. Now that's going to be on Todd. That's going to be on Byron. That's going to be on this leadership team. But I thought we all thought this leadership team was good. I thought we were all rah, 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 Bucs leadership. And now everyone's like, I heard a person talk about benching Brady. I heard a guy bench Charles Davis last night. Listen, he's a top 3 cornerback in the league right now.
Charles Davis. The dude who worked
Carlton Davis.
I'm sorry, Carlton Davis. Sorry. I've been drinking. Give me a break. So
Well, there was a Charles Davis who played corner. That's what I'm saying.
Fair. But
I like Charles
literally,
Davis.
this dude sitting next to me, nice guy, new season ticket holder.
Asshole.
Right?
Complete asshole. Then.
So, well, no, he bought it from this optometrist. He's a longtime Bucs fan. He used to run the pyro actually for the field. So good dude.
Still an asshole.
Bring
So
that
he
guy
made
back.
this comment. He made this comment about spy Kelsey. And I go, listen, you don't spy tight ends. You're talking about a coverage. You spy quarterbacks. That's different. And by the way, on the play you're talking about, Devin had underneath coverage. He just got there late. And he was bitching. And I go, listen, if you're going to make comments out loud, pretend like you understand the fucking game.
Hey, they were right there. They were right there on a lot of those passes too. Yeah,
They were.
Hey, the other thing we're not talking about is could the Bucs have been feeling themselves a little bit after the Super Bowl,
yes.
going in with the game plan, thinking, we've done this before, and you kind of felt that a little bit. I feel like it was kind of a good recipe for us to lose a game. It just felt like that, and it was a shitty fucking experience, obviously being there, but it's what it is.
Losing
man.
always sucks. Winning is preferred to losing, but sometimes you can take lessons from losses. And that's what determines whether someone's going to be a winner or a loser. If you learn from those defeats and you get better, they come out in the next game and they show improvement across the board, then all of a sudden you start feeling a little bit better. But it's the highs are never as high as you think they are, and the lows are never as low as you think they are, right? It is a long season, folks. So we've got to see these guys, see the Cade Ottens of the world and the Keefs of the world get out there and get meaningful minutes and doing good stuff so that we can start pulling them into the game plans, right?
Derek, you see my boy Keith catch a pass?
I did. Listen, the kid goes out there and does what he's told to do.
Yeah.
I saw Cade Otten doing some good work out there too. It's interesting to see because we are an older team, right? We just are. And sometimes I think we forget that part too. This is a team that's a little bit long in the tooth, and that's why you see the injury bug hitting us a little bit more. I got really scared on that pass early to Mike Evans where he got hit in the hip and came down funny.
Me too.
I had flashbacks to that. I had flashbacks to that Godwin play last year.
Oh, dude, when he went to the sideline holding his hip, I was like, oh, God damn it, not now.
Not 13.
Now. And so then he comes back because the guy's made of fucking iron or something, right? And
stud, dude.
I don't know. I just, if I could implore our fan base to do one thing, and I know they won't necessarily because some of them are young, they don't know any better, and that's okay too. Like I said, I was there. I did this shit too. Realize it is a marathon, not a sprint. We are fortunate to have a team as solid as we are. That doesn't mean you can't want more, but this entitled concept of demand more, and it should just be true that we do this. And if we just played press all game, magic would happen. I promise you guys. If half of these people on Twitter knew as much about football as they knew, they would actively be on a sideline. They're not.
Derek, I want to ask you something because you forgot more about football than I know. I don't know much. I'm just a fan. Legit. I don't know X's and O's like that, but I see a lot of people were saying the 49ers offense and the Rams offense, and it's way more creative, and we don't do creative things. Again, humbly, I don't know as much as you do, but I don't see a Cooper Kupp on this team. Like, can Mike Evans do what Cooper Kupp does? Do we have a Deebo Samuel on this team? Because they do a lot of weird trickery shit and misdirection and set shit up, but we don't have those players. We have guys that can win when we execute, and Mike does a good job at it, and so does fucking Godwin. But we don't have a Deebo. We don't have a goddamn Cooper Kupp. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
I think a healthy Godwin is a weapon like that. I think you can do that, but that guy's working his way back from injury. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that shiftiness that he's talking about, Stank, and I agree with him. We don't have that guy, which doesn't mean you have to have that guy to win in the fucking NFL either. There's plenty of teams that
I'm not saying that. I'm saying everybody always compares us to that.
I'm agreeing with
we should do more stuff like the Rams. Derek, what are your thoughts on that? Because
people are
it's like if I make it basketball, and I was like, well, Shaq seems to do real well in the post. Muggsy, why don't you go down to the low block? Motherfucker, I'm 5'3". Right? I can't do what Shaq does on the low block. So when you look at football, Cooper Kupp is a unique player, and so is Deebo. Deebo is similar to a couple other guys. DK Metcalf, I'd put in that same bucket from an athleticism perspective. Those guys eventually get worn out, though, which is why Deebo didn't want to be used that way this year, why DK isn't used that way. And you may have seen the IR report. Cordero Patterson just went to IR because they were using him like a goddamn wrecking ball, and he is a grown-ass man and was doing it But eventually, you know what happens? Another grown-ass man knocks you the fuck out. So I understand it's a league of imitation. It's what you do. You see a team doing well, you're like, oh, well, you think about the way the West Coast offense proliferated and the way the spread offense proliferates. These things all become thematics. And then your younger players coming up through college, that's what they play in. You're like, well, how can I apply that to the NFL level? What's a little bit different? What can I do with substitution patterns? Spread has struggled in the NFL because guess what? Everyone on the field is the best player you ever faced in college. Right? It works in college because generally speaking, you only need 4 or 5 better guys. That's why Alabama typically is always at the top. You get some of the pack, whatever their number is now, that's got speed, right? So what the Bucs have to do is find their identity. One of the things that the fans have called for, and I actually agree, Brady is a generational talent. At his worst, he's a generational talent, right? He's probably the greatest player to ever lace up cleats in football. If you can give him time, this motherfucker can deal. But you got to be able to give him time, and you can't become predictable. What did he throw? 52 passes last night? Was that the number?
52 fucking passes.
Yeah. Now, some of that's because you're down by 1,000 points. I get it. I guarantee you, looking at the stats in the quarterback room, they're like, we should not have had to throw the ball this much. Tom doesn't want to throw the ball 52 times. If you ask Tom Brady how he'd like to win, he'd like to hand the ball off to insert running back name here who gets 4 yards a carry, and they never throw a pass because that's the safest, most direct way to win the game. And make no mistakes, Mike Evans on the sideline, when he took the record that he took last night on scrimmage yards, he had a couple people come over to dap him up. I don't know if you saw it on the Jumbotron.
Don't give a shit.
And I'm not a great lip reader, but he said, that doesn't mean shit.
That's Mike. That's what we look.
Because that's Mike. This guy should have a statue in front of One Buck Place, like right now.
Yeah, someone off the edge said that shit. He's like, damn the Ring of Honor. I need a fucking statue of Mike Evans. Period.
I got some people working on it.
Absolutely right.
Once the bottom half is done, then we can move it over and then.
Yeah. Well, so on a West Club side, like I don't want it to go to our side where I can't see it. So I'd like them to put it somewhere I still have a vista.
I say it just goes right on the middle of the field, right there, center. Like
I've always hated the name Raymond James. Can we just eliminate that and just make it Mike Evans Stadium?
Mike Evans Stadium.
I fucking like it. We just need to write about a $200 million check. I'm sure that can be done. Right? I mean, that's naming rights. Because I heard, this probably happened years ago. Again, I don't pay attention to Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh plays in Heinz Field in my book, right? It ain't Heinz Field anymore. It's something that's like, I don't know.
It's
wait, it's not Heinz Field anymore?
No, it's a payroll. It's a payroll
that's
company.
Heinz Field. Fuck that shit. It's Heinz Field.
Heinz Ward Field. Heinz Ward Field.
Listen,
that's what they call it.
Hey, Mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. I don't like this renaming shit.
Derek, most of these people that on Twitter, they don't even know about Houlihan Stadium.
Oh, Houlihan.
Listen, Sam Ali Stadium has a good ring to it, honestly.
Derek, I still call the Dolphin Stadium because I grew up in Miami. Joe Robbie.
Joe Robbie.
Joe Robbie. I don't give a shit what it is now. That's Joe Robbie.
Listen, I don't care they built a new stadium. It's still Candlestick Park to me.
Yeah.
I still call the Lightning Stadium the Ice Palace. Is that weird?
Didn't they get rid of the Orange Bowl as well, or is it still called the Orange Bowl?
Yeah. They got rid of it. They blew it up.
So I know we went far field, guys, but I know you asked me a question, Populate, and it's one of those things where you can't just compare. They're not apples and apples, right? It's apples and oranges. Each team's a little bit different. Now, you may find a team that's similar in structure. They have similar skill position talents, and so you may be able to do that. That's why, like I said, West Coast offense, these sorts of things sort of spread around the league.
But Derek, is it even that complicated? Did we not just win a Super Bowl with this offense 2 years ago? Did we not just go
it's a top 5 offense
tit for tat with the Super Bowl champions last season with the same offense?
You didn't see, and you didn't hear apparently Collinsworth, who was slobbing Mahomes' knob.
He was.
We only won because his toe was hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only reason we won.
All right.
Because he had a hurt toe.
That's the only reason.
By the way, we went tit for tat with the Super Bowl champs of last year with Cameron Brate playing slot receiver because we had nothing else.
Yeah, the offense works. We can just shut the fuck up about that. The offense works as long as you got the guys to run it and you can execute and you don't keep shooting yourself in the fucking foot and turning the ball over and doing dumb shit. And stop with that. I don't even need to discuss that shit no more.
The offense is not, like I said, this whole game is kind of an it is what it is type of scenario. It just, the concern when I left that stadium was, damn, why the fuck can't we stop this run? And why the fuck can't we tackle anybody? And Derek kind of alluded to there's some pride on this team. And I feel like seeing that game and Todd being able to kind of like really get into his guys after having to watch that tape, I think they kind of wake the fuck up. I think they kind of like, damn, because they weren't tackling that great in the first half against the Packers, and they cleaned it up in the second half. And last night, they looked a lot like there wasn't any, I don't want to say anybody didn't have 100% effort, but it didn't feel like they wanted it as much as the other team. And we love Vita Vea. Vita Vea, I mean, maybe he's tired, maybe he's getting more doubles because there's nobody next to him of any size. But he looked a lot of times like he was just standing up and just kind of, it looked like he was tired. And I think that kind of shit gets called out, and players don't like to get called out, especially the good ones. And they usually respond and they beat the fuck out of somebody because they are pissed off.
Did you see his comment today?
No. I stay away from after we lose, dude. I can't absorb Buck shit until the show.
I don't remember where I saw, but Vita had a statement. He said, "I'm embarrassed with my performance last night,
that's
and I'll be better. I'm embarrassed or disgusted, something like that. He ain't happy about it."
Well, one of the challenges we've got some really unique talent on that line, and I mentioned it, I think it was in week 2. There are too often where we're getting singles and not winning, and you're not always going to win a single, right? Because again, they get paid to play too. But when you've got guys that are supposed to be top 10 in their position, you do expect to win a couple of them, and we have. And when we do, then we disrupt things. Now, I think that one of the things, and Sam, I'm glad you're harping on the running thing, because the Chiefs are kind of a unique situation with Mahomes back there. They're a team with a lot of speed. They use a lot of movement. They use a lot of jet motion, and it does cause a problem. So you can't overcommit because Mahomes can get rid of the ball so fast. If you don't get home, all he's going to do is throw it for 16 yards behind you. Now, where we were different in the Super Bowl is A, we got our pressure faster, and B, Levante did a better job covering Kelsey. Now, it wasn't like Levante wasn't man up on Kelsey, but he was more often than not the one who was responsible for Kelsey when he went out into coverage. We didn't do that last night. Kelsey just ate, and a lot of times it looked like Mahomes was bouncing the ball off underneath coverage, his helmet, and into his hands underneath the over coverage. Sometimes the other team's just fucking better that night. But you learn from it and you come back and you put a win. And I'm not even going to say, I love the whole idea of coming back and stomping a mud hole in someone's ass. God knows I would rather us win 96-0 and celebrate. I love it. I love to have a game like that.
Just beat someone up. I don't care about the scoreboard as much. Just beat the fuck out of someone and physically.
Yes. Impose your will on them. Leave no doubt. Like from Remember the Titans, right?
Remember the Titans, yeah.
But I just want the wins. If we just win against the Packers, we may have won, but motherfucker, there's no column in the box score for you would have won, buts, right? There's wins, losses, ties. You tell the difference by one thing: the score.
It's breaking up on you, old school.
Yeah, your cell phone's breaking up. And actually, they do have a category in the stat box. It's called the Jameis Winston category. You would have won, but it's JW category.
The sheet.
Oh shit, old school, you there?
The check your sheet deal. I think that's what it is.
It's on the backside. You got to check the backside of the sheet for that.
You got to check your sheet. Well, if he drops out,
old school.
Listen, old school just went too hard for the signal. That's what just happened.
If he gets out, we'll get him back in. No big deal. I was gonna say the one thing that I noticed that we'll talk about it here. The Green Bay Packers and the Chiefs ran a lot of the similar shit. You guys noticed that where they stand in shotgun. That whether it's an actual option for what's his name to actually take the ball and run it as opposed to not run it. This and that. They run a lot of the similar schemes that fucked us with the Green Bay Packers. They fake the handoff, hold the linebackers, have a lot of motion. They had bunches to the left. They had guys doing, screen plays, pick plays, underneath type shit where a lot of the same stuff that the Packers exposed, the Chiefs ran it. And that forces your D-line to stop, and you have to hold your spot because you don't know if he's going to run or if he's going to pass. And I think that's what opened up that shit with Kelsey because he looked like he was unstoppable at one point, but they're holding our linebackers. They have, and Mahomes and Rodgers are fucking so good at that shit. Rodgers doesn't even run half the goddamn time, but he still gets you to hold that shit because he knows if he tucks it, he's throwing that fucker right over the top. And I think that's good film though. That's good film because how many teams are going to really do that, but we're going to learn from that.
Well, how many teams are capable of doing that don't have a Mahomes and Rodgers to actually execute it?
They tackle better against Green Bay. That was the main
in the second half. But look, we're one Vita Vea safety play away from having the same fucking thing happen in the Green Bay game.
And I asked this question because I talked to Sam about it and I saw people, but I said, man, why did Carlton Davis not put his fucking helmet between the 1 and the 5 and just destroy Patrick Mahomes the way Brady got blindsided as well?
Dude, why didn't he hit the ball? Why didn't he just hit the ball?
The ball thing is, but the response I got was because they're not one and the same, right? Old school, like Brady is a statue, but Patrick, if he senses it, can make you look really fucking stupid if you don't break down and tackle. Can't just put your helmet down. He can make you look really fucking dumb really quick, which he did.
He should have hit the ball.
He can. He can. Can you guys? Am I back? Okay.
You're back. You're beautiful. You're back, and you're beautiful.
Oh, you're too nice. I again, based on my moniker, it's not going to surprise anyone. I am a fan of fundamentals. Typically, you go against the outside hip and you turn people back in. But when you play a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you play an Aaron Rodgers, you play a Josh Allen, any of these quarterbacks who like to run, the rule always used to be when you get a shot, you take your shot. And you take it hard. And you might get a penalty, and that's okay. Because if you hit him, he won't like it. So all of this shit of trying to be cute and guess where he's going to dip and dive to, dude, just drive through his goddamn sternum. Do it every time you get a chance. And that sets the tone. Hey, Pat, if you want to tiptoe out here, guess what? I'm going to hit you, and I hope you piss blood later. I'm not going to do anything illegal. I'm not going to hit you in the helmet. I'm not going to grab your face mask. I'm not going to hit you after the whistle. But if you come outside this tackle box, motherfucker, you're going to know that you were a running back. On that damn touchdown flip play. Stop dancing with him.
Just hit him. But King Cook brings up a good point in the chat. It says, because you can't hit quarterbacks like that no more. Do you think
it doesn't matter? I agree with old school. It doesn't matter. Take the fucking penalty.
I get it. Is it worth the penalty? That's what I'm saying. I say go the fuck in there and not hurt him, but like make him feel the hit. Make him feel the hit. Take the penalty if you take it.
Make your presence known. Make your presence known.
Punch him in the fucking mouth. I'm totally with that because I feel like the teams that do that in the very beginning, they're the teams more often than not that win the game, regardless of who you got. You usually don't like to get hit, and if you get the guy that doesn't like to get hit just once, he's gonna fucking think
he's
about
not wrong though. The players do have that in the back of their head, and we're talking about Carlton Davis here, not necessarily the guy that's known for laying wood. I mean, he's a good tackler, but that's just not his game.
But he's also not a pass rusher.
Quarterback, dude. It's not Josh Allen either.
I know, but he's not a pass rusher. Their natural instinct is to swipe at that ball while they're making the sack, whereas his natural instinct is to tackle the ball carrier. So it's a little bit different. This is not that Colts defensive end from years ago who every time he got a sack, it was a goddamn sack fumble.
31. What are you talking about? Antoine Winfield. He always
how
goes
dare
for the ball.
you? No, how dare you, by the way, talk about a Colts defensive end that his instinct was automatically swipe at the ball when you have a fucking Hall of Famer should be in Simeon Rice, who was an expert.
This is not a knock on Simeon.
You couldn't bring up a fucking Buccaneer. You
no,
gotta bring up a Colt.
Listen, there's no knock on him, but dude, there was nobody better than that guy.
Delete the Samarkand.
No,
there
was nobody better at the sack fumble than that guy, dude.
Beautiful.
It's
there was. His name was Simeon Rice.
Too young, Derek. Tell him about Simeon Rice. That's swipe.
I'm too young, dude. Get out of here. I was a Bucs fan before you were. I knew Simeon Rice. I'm just saying the sack strip, like that is everyone in the world knows.
Simeon
Rice. Yeah. I don't even know who you're talking about. I've never even heard of Dwight Freeney, bro. I've never even heard of Dwight Freeney.
What I said was not a knock. What I said was not a knock on him.
That's a bridge too far to say you've never heard of Dwight Freeney. Anyone says they never heard of Dwight Freeney, never watched football. The best spin move ever of a defensive end.
Samer couldn't even remember his name. I was just throwing it out there because
listen, I don't like anyone named. I usually don't like people named Dwight. All right, it's just something that's in the back of my head. I just don't like people named Dwight.
Dwight Schrute, though.
Hey, by the way, I have to point something out that's gonna piss everyone off here, including fucking old school. Jonas said somewhere on there, I guess it's time to cancel the Penthouse tailgate.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, our tailgate with tatas and food has nothing to do with the Bucs.
Anything, we're doubling down, dude.
Put Jonas in timeout. Jonas, you're going in timeout, bro. Sorry. Yeah. That was the dumbest thing you've ever put in this chat room.
So I can't speak to Jonas's comment. Titties and football are a good combination in my mind. But King Cook's comment is a good one, right? So there are rules about this, and you are cautious. Now, speaking of rules, this is one of the things I will take umbrage with. This bullshit pick play that has become so common in the NFL that they've stolen from college is pretty easy to officiate. Now, one of the things you do as a coach is you have points of emphasis, just like the NFL officiating crew has points of emphasis. So when you go to play a team and you know that they do these pick plays all the time, you go talk to the crew before the game and say, hey, listen, hope you watch tape, because I will watch tape. You know that pass has to be behind the line of scrimmage for them to engage inside of that 5-yard box.
Yeah. If
it's across the line of scrimmage, that's illegal, and you need to throw your little fucking flag. I don't see us working the refs at all about this. And officiating is always easy to call. There's a hold on every play. Totally, I get that. I don't bellyache about it very much. But on that crazy magical flip play, I was at it tonight, hanging with my friends. Former coach, coached at Plant, very knowledgeable guy, played football. He's like 73 was 6 yards in the end zone on that play. That's an illegal receiver downfield.
73 actually, he reported eligible on that play.
Not on that play.
Yeah, he did. They announced it. I remember it very. I remember vividly because I elbowed Stank and said he's going to throw it to him, and they end up not throwing it to him. But
I only heard them call him eligible on one play, and it was on the other end of the stadium. But you may be right. You may well be right.
Because I elbowed Stank and said, watch, they're going to somehow throw that goddamn offensive lineman. Yeah. And it was weird. It was last night. They were reporting the eligible offensive lineman like right before the snap of the play, which I'd never really seen before.
They're just announcing it. It was reported earlier than that.
No, I know. But usually they announce it quicker. It's not like right before the fucking snap. And the other thing, too, like I get what you're saying, but I agree. They were engaging. Stank even called it at the game. They were engaging the blocking behind them before the wide receiver screen passes.
Yeah, the wide receiver screens, and their guys are downfield blocking before the ball is even out of his hands.
Yeah. That's 100% illegal.
Yeah, and that's on the coaching staff, right? Make no mistake, that's on one group, and that's on the coaching staff. They have to go out there, and BA was great at it. In fact, if you look back in history, John Gruden was great at it, right? You got to get in the refs and say, guys, this is something this team. Look at the way the Saints always played coverage on us. They would interfere 80% of the time and dare the refs to call it. Guess what we're doing this year? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? You want to call it? You better call it 15 times because I'm not adjusting on one.
Yeah, right? BA would have been in the official's ear all game long. All the holding that they didn't call. Oh my God!
I was gonna say Derek said there's holding on every play. I'm like, is there? Derek? They only called holding one time in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, like the end of the game.
One time at the end of the game, I'm like, oh wow. Thanks for the fucking holding call now.
They weren't just hugging, dude. They were holding. They were hugging these fucks. Like they were engaged in group hugs and shit. It looked like a fucking episode of Full House towards the end of the episode where everyone has a goddamn. It was fucking ridiculous. And they weren't calling it.
These guys are human. I'm not trying to make excuses at all for Vita and his performance. None of that shit. But you think you get a little discouraged, right, Derek? Like you're a human being, right? Like you're first quarter, second quarter, you're being held, you're being hugged, and it's like. At some point, you're like, God damn, man, like, what the fuck is going on here?
So, yeah, but one of the things you're taught to do is make those things obvious, right? So as a lineman, you're supposed to, and this comes down to effort, you're supposed to exert enough effort that if they're grabbing your jersey, that jersey pull is evident, right? If their hand is behind your shoulder, that your motion causes your body to twist. That's not the same as flopping. That's not the same as selling. That's just exerting that effort so that the call is more obvious. Should the referee have seen it without that? Sure. But sometimes you make it obvious. It's very similar to like Mike. One of the guys next to me thought he was going to get an offensive pass interference last night. They called it on the defense. And I'm like, they're not going to call it if his elbows are bent. The only time they're going to call that is if you extend your arm. Mike's got long ass arms. Right, and he used to get in trouble all the time because he'd push off and extend. All he has to do is keep that 15 degrees in, and he'll get away with that push every time. And that's what he did last night. So it's the same thing on the line. You've got to coach these guys up, and that's why when you see ex-players as coaches, sometimes that's a super advantage because they know that. Right, they know that little bullshit. It's like, hey, listen, if this guy is wrapping around your shoulder pads, then you've got to, even if a spin wasn't what you were doing, if you've already been pulled out of the play by some bullshit, make it obvious because then you've given your coach artillery. He can go back and go, did you see that fucking hold that you didn't call? Right? You got to think about not just that play, but all plays. And to be honest, and I know that we're all, escalated because of this, we're going to be all right. We got to get healthy. Yeah. I think that we've got a great shot still. It's still early in the season. Are there areas to improve? Yes. Should fans want improvement? Absolutely. Do I think that our fan base in general is super entitled? Bet your ass I do. Do I think that's amplified because Twitter gives everyone a fucking megaphone? Yes, I fucking hate Twitter. And yes, I still want to filter for anyone who doesn't have 100 followers because you know what? I probably don't give a fuck what you think.
Filter them out.
If you haven't said enough interesting things.
Yes.
I like that.
I like that rule.
Fucking love it.
Going
Old
back,
school for the top row.
Going back to what you said,
old school, you do know that a vast majority of them are Bucs fans anyways. They're Tom fans. And they won't be here.
And now he's going to go Samarkand, by the way, guys.
No, I'm not. I was going to say, going back to what Old School was saying about how Mike now knows how to get away with shit. You notice this season, he's perfected this tiny little, like, flick of the corner's fucking face mask and helmet to get open on the fades and shit, and even to get a quick release. It's super fucking – it's not even, like, enough to, like, push your face off, but he's doing a little tap, and he's getting away with it, and I'm like – he's just learning some shit, and it's weird. There's no vet receiver around him that's teaching him this shit. He's got to be learning it from Tom, or it's somehow he's learning these little nuances that are making him better now. Where you can't call it on him.
I don't know about Mike's offseason, but I know from my time when the guys that I coached were in the league still, they would get together in the offseason. Like, so Gent used to get together with Ocho and TJ Hushmanzada and those guys, and they would get together in random locations. And it wasn't always just all guys on the same team. Sometimes they were guys that played on the same college team, but were on different pro teams. And they would share that stuff. And you do. It's vet knowledge, right? You start that hand coming up into the shoulder pads, and you just let it slip off and hit the face mask. A referee's not going to call that. It looks like incidental contact, right? No problem. You get away with it. You keep your elbow bent, no problem. And I still, you talk about Mike, I cannot believe that these motherfuckers have the audacity to think they can press this man. There is not a corner in this league or on this planet who can win press against Mike.
But what about Jalen Ramsey?
No. Nope.
What about Lattimore if he doesn't hold them and pass interfere?
Dude, he got
burnt. And what's great is Mike has gotten to the point now with Lattimore. Lattimore is interesting, man. So Lattimore's got a lot of dog in him. And so some of this comes down to who's got the biggest balls that day. And I love Mike, and it's usually Mike, but the only thing that combats Mike is bigger balls on that play and not caring about the rules and getting in there and mixing it up. Sometimes it's just man on man, who wants this play more? And that's one of the beautiful things about football. There's chess, there's strategy, there's brilliance, and then there's just checkers and balls. Just fucking man up and see what you can do. And like the fact that we ran the ball in the red zone, I don't that little jump pass, no issue. I got no issue with any of that stuff we did in the red zone. So I don't know.
Old school, I do have some inside information that Marshawn Lattimore stuffs his pants. Those aren't real balls.
Those are real balls. Hey, and this is the kind of information you tune in for the show.
Stank would know. Yeah. Stank is an expert ball
Listen,
stuffer.
I got people all over the place. I got inside sources.
Listen, we know Stephen Beck. Okay. Stephen Beck knows all about proper stuff.
He does. He does.
He knows.
He knows all about who's stuffing.
He's an underwear model. He knows exactly how the stuffage works. Go ahead,
bro. Why are you outing my source, bro? Fuck.
On a positive note, old school, and we all. I mean, I did. I probably speak for a lot of people. We all held our breath every time 14 caught a ball across the middle and got hit and got dirty and got banged up. I think that there's a lot of positive in that as well. Just to see him get out there and get hit, it's a huge mental hurdle for him, right? Because, oh shit, I got hit. My knee's okay. All right, let's get. You can just see him getting more and more comfortable. Listen, like you said, like we all said, it's a fucking marathon. So if there is some positive stuff to take away, the offense scored some points. We only had 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games. We scored some fucking points, and Godwin is back. Got them all lathered up. We all know 13 is still that dude, and he proved that last night. So we're just inching at getting healthier.
And I like what I've seen from Gage so far. I think he's going to get it together. I think we got a good little combo. I don't know what we can expect from Julio.
And he's not healthy. Gage is playing with that bum hamstring. You can tell. He grabs it every time he goes down. He's just not 100%.
Hey, no excuses, man. I like it. I like no excuses football. These guys are just like, hey, we got to just be men. We got to help Tom out. We got to be men. Old school, you got time to – we got about 3 phone calls. Let's take these calls.
I can hang up.
All right, sweet. We're going to go to –
fucking love old school.
Yeah, dude, fucking knows football, knows meat. Anyone who knows meat and likes to talk about balls and big balls, welcome on the show.
Huge balls.
Anytime.
I still haven't
Huge
tasted
fucking
your meat,
balls.
old school. I can't wait.
My outdoor kitchen
listen.
is almost done. We'll do something in December.
Yeah,
Oh,
bring
man,
your big
I'm about to
balls
finish.
and your meat.
I'm about to finish my downstairs. Then it's the outdoor kitchen is the next phase. I can't wait.
I thought you
And then
We're
I
gonna
need
have
you
to
to teach
drink
me
and
how to
talk
make.
about that pain.
I need you. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. It hurts. I need you to teach me how to make your meat because I've had your meat in my mouth. Let me tell you guys, it's good meat. It's good meat. Oh,
well, just a second ago you said you were
it's
about to finish.
savory, sweet. It's just
Sweet.
it's just beautiful. This meat is just beautiful.
How are
Bro, I mean, look how long he marinated. He's been marinating for a long time, bro. They call him old school for a reason.
Old school meat.
big balls?
Big
Huge.
balls. Oh yeah.
Huge.
The
Hey,
biggest.
he makes wings too. Smoked wings. Oh
Doesn't taste like that fucking tree bark /
no, that
mulch
tree bark
what's his
shit
name?
that Stank serves us. Yeah, Stank
Okay, no
Stank
hate.
smokes wings. Old school.
Did you
but he-
call him tree bark?
Yeah. He smokes wings, but he smokes them like a brisket. It's like, no, bro. They don't need 12 hours, bro. What are you doing?
I do him like I do it like the Native Americans used to
Listen,
do it. You know,
listen,
like,
old school. He leaves the tip on, so he just serves you a bunch of
I
shit.
do. Hey, tip on though.
It's
tip
like
on,
eating.
for
It's
sure.
like eating a shiv. It doesn't make any
I like.
goddamn
Dude,
sense.
I actually like eating the wing. Like I crunch on it when
We got
it's
a
nice and
spammer in the
burnt.
comment section, Sammer.
Oh, because we said balls. You know that's what happens, right?
Yeah, we know.
Once we drop any fucking sexual innuendo, all the 69megas.com show up.
Nice.
Hey,
Hey,
you
wait,
should
wait,
feel
before we
honored
take that
though,
call.
old school. You've got your first porn bot with us, man.
Hold on. Before we take that caller, King Cook makes an excellent fucking point.
King Cook, caller of the day or chatter of the day.
Chatter
of the day.
For
He talked. You know, he makes an excellent point. We talked about Godwin and positive things to take away. He said, "Let's talk about Donovan Smith
Yeah.
coming back with that arm and playing great." That was
Didn't hear his name. Perfect.
Didn't
for
hear
an
his
offensive
name?
lineman.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Brady didn't get any pressure from that side. I don't think so.
Calm down. Get a key was in trouble.
I'm not
That
talking
kid
about
looked like a
Gadecki. I said
rookie.
Donovan Smith. I said
You said
pressure
from that side. You said from that side.
From that
come
side,
on,
yeah.
you know
But
what I
listen, hey, to Gadecki's defense, he's going up against fucking Chris Jones, dude. I mean, guys who've been in the league get their asses kicked by that dude. So we just got to take a deep breath on him. I think we got to trust Light. He knows what the fuck he's doing with offensive linemen, doesn't he?
Follow the light.
He's not wrong usually.
I
when it
think he
comes to
does.
these guys. I mean, he got Kappa paid.
Like
Right?
Derek wants to say something.
Go ahead, Derek.
I
Sorry.
got no issue with Light in the offensive line. I think he's done a great job. I think that Gedecke's done well. I think that Shaq Mason has done well. Wirfs is a goddamn machine. Hainsey has been fantastic in relief. And I'm glad to see Donovan back with that damn cage on his arm. That limits his ability to help. He can't stab that direction, which does cause a bit of a problem. But no, I think it was great to see Donovan back. He's an Iron Man, and for years, these same clowns that I'm angry about tweeting now, if they were old enough to have a Twitter account at the time, were probably asking us to cut Donovan Smith, because that used to be a thing. If y'all don't remember, Donovan Smith used to be the whipping boy for this team, right?
Missed him.
Donovan Smith, that guy, that dude.
Yeah.
Now we missed
Yeah.
the fuck out of him last week though.
Until 12
he can't
stepped
play
in the
football.
building.
All right, let's go to the Penthouse Hotline, and we will go to Tom in Michigan. You're on with the Loose Cannons. You're on the Penthouse Hotline. What's up?
Hey, how are you guys tonight?
We've been better, Tom.
I'm doing great.
I can believe it.
Got big
But
old balls.
you know what's important? 84% of the time I found love with my right hand, and the other 16% I found love with my left hand. But hey, you know what?
100%
The
love.
Saints lost. Hey, yeah. Hey, you know what? The Saints lost. So all is good. And what a game. It pains me to do this, but like your idiot cousin buying a timeshare, family is family, and sometimes you just need to call bullshit. Hey, BA, why weren't you on the sideline? Could at least start a fight. At least we could say we won something last night. Shame Shaq Barrett couldn't play last night due to injuries, But, never mind. He did play. Hey, our donkey hung punter, real momentum boost there to get within 7 and kick the kickoff out of bounds. Way to go there. But you know what would have been the cherry on top last night? If Rojo would have came in and scored from the 1 yard line. That would have been the nut punch right there. And you candy-ass bandwagon fans, step off. Go back to New England. and eat your clam chowder and enjoy your hairless women. In the end, what'd we do? We lost a game. It's not the end of the world. KC wanted it more. They wanted payback for the Super Bowl. So what happened? We lost to an out-of-conference team. It's not that bad. On a personal note, let's go back to red jerseys at home. That's in my opinion. But you know what, KC? The banners and the trophies still reside in Tampa, and all you did was win a Week 4 game. Fuck the Saints. Fuck the Rams. I would say fuck KC, but your world-famous barbecue is surpassed by the McDonald's McRib. Good night, peeps.
Good night. Listen, before I go any further, before anybody goes any further, can we stop with the Shaq Barrett criticism? Like, if you're gonna criticize people on this, that guy is fucking killing himself out there. Maybe it doesn't show on television, but he's legit. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Miles an hour every time.
All the time.
Every time.
Nobody was gonna sack Mahomes last night. He was getting rid of the ball under 2 seconds sometimes. Dude. It was crazy. It was just the ball was out. He even said it after the game. The game plan was to get the ball out of my hands quickly. They weren't gonna fucking have him get sacked a million times like the Super Bowl. He wasn't gonna run around like that. Fuck yeah. The Shaq Barrett part is the only thing I will agree with Stank. I did not like that part of the call. But Tom Michigan, he's a legend, so we'll let it go.
The barbecue in KC is also pretty baller.
It's pretty baller.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Their burn ends are spectacular. I like Texas barbecue better, but their burn ends are absolutely orgasmic.
Oh, God. Burn ends are the best thing. Listen, Sammer's a brisket guy. Burn ends is my shit. That's my playground.
You know what I want to do? I want to get an entire cow and just smoke the entire thing while it's alive. For all of it. Just
technically it wouldn't be alive for very long.
Yeah, interesting choice. Okay.
Continue. Alive. I want to smoke the entire cow.
Okay.
So it's interesting. It's actually an interesting question. So they do whole hog smoking all the time. I've done it in my cooking classes or whatever. And then you pull it in the carcass, you combine the meat, and it's fine. I've never seen anyone do a cow that way. That's interesting.
Yeah, you need like a big caja china. I think this is what they call it.
Caja china, bro. What the hell?
China, whatever. You know, I'm. You should be impressed. I know what that is.
Latte.
You know what a caja china is, right? Old school.
No.
So it's like a big box. It's a Cuban thing. Mm-hmm. It's a big box that they build, and it's basically a big ass grill, but it's a big ass oven. It's aluminum, and they put the charcoal on top. You put the pig inside. Put the charcoal on top, and it literally just fucking bakes it, but it crisps the. Oh, geez,
so good.
That's just so.
So we just need to build one of those. And just walk the cow in there, unbeknownst that it's walking into its fucking death trap.
Oh God, what the fuck is wrong?
PETA is now going to jump.
You're getting off so much on the misery to the cow. But
what's the key to it being alive? What does that do?
Why do you need to see it? Why do you need to hear it? Like,
is there anything fresher than a live cow?
Yeah,
you could kill it, clean it, and put it in right away, and it's fresh.
Medium rare. Half alive.
Next caller, please.
Next caller, please.
Half alive.
Oh, God.
All right. We'll go to Corey in Nashville. You're on the Penthouse Hotline. What's up, man?
Right. Hey, guys. What's going on, man? Happy Monday.
We lost.
Corey?
So Corey, I know we lost Corey, but remember, don't go on a 12-minute tirade.
No. Corey was out there fighting the good fight last night. He was fighting the good fight. I saw you, Corey.
All right. Go
Don't tell Corey what to do. Corey, be yourself, man.
Man, I've been following y'all's time rules. Anyway, look, man, you can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. So, man, look. Here's my thing. I take a macro approach to the season, first quarter of the season. Listen, were we outcoached? Yes. Were we outplayed? Yes. And we lost. But you're going to tell me a team is going to come, score 41 points, convert 85% of their third down, and do not punt when the game really matters. We're going to lose every single game that we play that way. So that's really going to happen again. Relax. People talking about fire Byron. Man, listen. You know what? Stop running the ball on first down, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. But you know what? It's fucking football. It's a hat on a motherfucking hat. And sometimes you can't be getting stopped at the line of fucking scrimmage. All right? That's period, point blank. We got to have balance. We got to run the ball. Like I said, macro approach. Tom Brady is fucking phenomenal. I cannot believe this man is 45. Once again, he had a great night. People talking about empty calories. I would have liked to see how empty those calories would have been had the defense gotten one stop. And let's see where that goes. Guys, any given Sunday, those guys circled that game. That was their Super Bowl for the first quarter of the season. You take teams that have better records than us right now would love to be in our position. You know why? Because we're in first place in our division. We control our destiny. The Packers don't control their destiny. The Giants 3-1 don't control their destiny. The Cowboys 3-1 do not control their destiny. We do that. We wake up today and we're still in control of our destiny, man. Go fucking Bucs. And these fair weather fans that I had to go in on last night, shut the fuck up and sit down. I'm 20 years deep in this shit. I was at the 56-zip Falcons game. I was there, throwing my motherfucking hat out the stands. Sit the fuck down and enjoy what we got. Holla.
Wow. That may have been Corey and Nashville's best call ever.
Best call.
Yeah.
Best call.
Best call I've heard in a long time.
Hey, I remember that Falcons game, old school, because we didn't get many primetime games. And, you feel all warm and fuzzy. And I went out and got a nice fucking ribeye. And I started the fucking charcoal grill outside. And I made some beautiful sides, a nice little mash and a nice asparagus. And I grill my steak and I sit down. Woo! And as soon as I take the first, okay. And then before I finished the fucking steak, we were down 28-0. It was fucking horrible. It was horrible. What the fuck?
I knew we were going to get our ass handed to us.
You guys wonder why I have PTSD? That's just one of the many moments that have completely fucked me mentally. But
hey,
that was,
how about the Rams game with the fucking 4-hour rain delay? And then we're about to win in the fourth quarter. James gets hit from the back. Fuck! There's been so much shit, guys, and we actually have a good team. And you guys
I've repressed all that shit. I don't even remember anymore.
We were all huddled down. We were huddled in those stupid
ramps.
We were huddled in those stupid ramps for like 4 hours. You're right, against that Rams team.
I remember.
God,
ridiculous.
God, it was horrible.
Remember, how about Tennessee ready, bro? We got our franchise savior. This is the guy. We took the right quarterback. First fucking pass. Pick six.
What a kick in the sack. That entire game was just constantly getting kicked in the sack, dude.
Hey, that is a good segue to Derek. Mariota coming to Tampa this week.
Hey, Derek, funny story. My business partner, he's kind of a fan, not huge. He just wanted to go to experience it, right? And he goes to that Tennessee Ready game, and he's hyped, bro. Because he's hearing it from me. He's hearing it around town. We got the number one pick. Jameis Winston shows up. He got tickets on the east side. He didn't know.
Oops.
He said, after the game, he's like, motherfucker, you do this every Sunday? Like, you enjoy this? I sweat my ass off and saw the team get their ass kicked. And he threw a pick six. You're fucking crazy, bro. I'm good. Never went to another game again.
You know how many people ask me that shit? Like, after a game like last night or like last week, we almost died in that fucking heat. And everyone's like, was it worth being out there and then watching your team lose at the end of it? And I'm like, well, I do it again. Why not?
I don't leave.
I wish I would have videoed it, but inside the club section, there were people laying like it was like they were in a FEMA trailer, laying on the carpet by the elevators. That's how hot it was. It was really bad.
It was hot.
That must have been East Club.
It was East Club. Hey, we can't be in the fancy club, bro.
They don't let you do that in West Club. You do that shit in West Club. They usher you out the back. They take you back door.
People were throwing dice and everything, bro. You got to come to East Club sometime.
You know what was dope as fuck though? There was like a little kid celebrating his 8-year-old birthday, and he was like at the on the top level where the suites are.
The streamers kept coming down.
No, not last night. No, the game before that, the Packers game. And dude, I looked up. It was hot as fuck. I'm in that line to get a drink. And I look up these kids. There's like 5-6 kids, and they have a full-on ice cream bar, dude. It's hot as a motherfucker out there. And I hate ice cream, and I'm like, that shit has got to be the most satisfying thing ever. Kids are celebrating. He's having a goddamn eight birthday party there. That's phenomenal.
You hate ice cream, and you want to smoke a fucking live cow. Bro, you need therapy. You really do. How do you hate ice cream, bro? Who fucking hates ice cream?
Hey, hold on. Have you ever eaten a cow while it's mooing? No, you haven't, so you can't knock it. You don't know.
So you're saying like cow sushi?
Smoked cow sushi.
Well, I've had carpaccio. I've had rare beef before, or raw beef.
By the way,
the
two Karens, not that you guys should be surprised, but the two Karens that were talking to my wife at Walgreens that were like, oh, I can't believe this. It's ridiculous. It's because Giselle's leaving them. Those guys, yeah. They were like, so were you at the game too? Because she had a Bucs shirt on. She's like, yeah. So when did you leave? She's like, at the end of the game.
Yeah. When you're supposed to.
Wait,
Jagoff.
you just stayed? Oh, I couldn't do that.
Fantasy implications. Of course we stayed.
And another thing, because Derek liked it, I want to fucking, because they tagged us. I don't boo my fucking team.
Oh, fuck that.
I don't boo my team.
I forgot about that.
Criticize me, call me a fucking blowhard, whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I don't boo my fucking team. I don't boo my team.
I'm a booer.
Period. No, dude. You can criticize. I can be pissed off. I'm not booing my fucking team in my own stadium.
Listen,
that is fucking ridiculous. I'm not booing my team.
Not only for football, but like everything. If you cannot do something better than the person that you're about to boo, don't boo. If my plumber comes over and he's fucking shit up and I can do it better, I'm like, hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing right now? But if he's doing some shit that's wrong and I have no clue what the fuck he's doing, I'm like, all right, continue to play.
Booing feels so good, though.
No,
it feels so good to make that noise for some
unless you are better at what they are doing, you can never fucking boo. I don't give a fuck.
Disagree.
56-0. Don't give a fuck. You want to be upset? Be upset. There's no reason to boo. It's not like they're out there not fucking trying, dude.
So wait a second. You don't criticize people?
I criticize. I don't boo.
Okay, it was the same shit.
No, it's not.
It's just a different way of criticism.
No. There's two different things. Okay, Sammer sat
different.
3 rows behind the Bucs bench and cursed Shiano the fuck out.
I went to the game just to cuss at that motherfucker. I didn't want to see the game.
Wait, Latte. Sammer cursed out a 6-year-old at the game yesterday.
He did. Confirmed.
Yesterday.
Confirmed. Cursed him out. The mom was
it wasn't at him. I said,
like, turn around, son, right the fuck now.
We scored a touchdown, and I said, how do you like that shit, you motherfucker? To Andy Reid. I said, how is it a cheeseburger, motherfucking Andy?
While
and
that kid was making eye contact with you.
The kid turned around and looked at me.
Like, turn the fuck around.
And then he looks at his mom. His mom tells us later, he asked me, what's wrong with that man? And she said, I don't know, but he has a phenomenal barber. You know what?
Hey, she was kind of hot.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. She's not even my wheelhouse.
She was a hot mom. But listen,
see the Botox.
If he was a Chiefs fan, I would have been like, yeah, fuck you too, kid. Get the fuck out of my goddamn stadium. My fucking section wearing a goddamn Chiefs. All right,
Listen, bro, I would never berate or talk or be mean to opposing fans in the stadium.
But you'll boo your own team. You're a fucking idiot. You know that, dude? You are.
I set it up for you, bro. I set it up for you, and you didn't hit it out of the park.
Didn't hit it out of the park, bro.
When I abused that poor Saints fan.
Oh yeah,
that lady.
I forgot about that. Listen, old school.
Bro.
He called a Saints. He called a female Saints fan.
I was drinking a lot.
He called her fat. Right to her face.
She started talking shit to me.
She was talking shit to him, and we're getting our teeth kicked in. He's like, "Shut up, you fat bitch!" I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was like, immediately, we're like talking shit with him. We're like, "Yeah, fuck the Saints."
I immediately regret it. I have 2 daughters.
Fat bitch, and me and Simon went, "Whoa, no."
Yeah.
Just came out.
Cut it.
And everybody and all the other people in that section were starting to learn who the fuck we were and shit. I'm like, oh, this is not good for the brand. This is terrible for the brand.
Old school. It was
the white
bad,
guy
though.
just called someone fat.
They can't even describe how bad it was because there was nobody left in the stadium. Like there was just us and these Saints fans. And I yelled it and you would think like we're at a football game and she'd be like, ha, fuck you. When I said it, she was like,
she was going to eat.
She looked at me like,
she was going to eat. Like, it was a shock that she was fat,
bro.
She didn't know.
I really hurt her.
Listen,
and I actually went down afterwards and said, I'm
old
sorry.
School, she didn't
want to hear it. She was like,
she didn't know she was fat. It surprised her. It was a shock. She had no idea she was fat.
I'm fat, bro. I'm allowed to call other people fat.
I get it, but fuck. Fuck, dude. Come on.
I'm fat, bro. I got fucking titties.
Yeah. Speaking of titties in football, staying next to me, if I feel bad about a first down run play, I just fondle him.
Take the last 2 callers, bro, so we get the fuck out
right here, live on the show. He admits it.
Yep.
Take the last 2 callers.
All right, we go to 6,
what's
7,
going on
8.
Monday Night Football?
You're on with the Loose Cannons. You're on the Penthouse Hotline. What's up? I think it's Smitty. What's up, Smitty?
What's up, old school? Old school, the real deal, Holyfield. What's going on, old school? Hey, man, I ain't gonna stand it too long. It's past me and the old school bedtime. The old school dudes, old school dudes. I mean, man, I've been a fan since '76. This ain't shit, man. We got our ass tore up, man. It's the words that Jay-Z used. I'm gonna say this real quick. The best of times is the worst of times. We're gonna have to lose. Hopefully, we can go back in the team, not us. If we want to, we could do that. But the people getting the check, they can go back to coaches, the players, and see what they fucked up on. They look tired and old. We do have a new old team. They old, but they tired, but they old, but they new. But we just have to go back to drawing board, man, and learn from this, man. And fans are gonna be a fans. You're gonna have this. It is what it is. We can't control how people feel. I used to be that way when I was younger. I used to have like a heart attack, go to work crying. Oh, man, y'all lost again. Fuck y'all, But now I'm old. It's only like Jay-Z said. It's only entertainment. They getting paid. Yeah, they getting the dollars. Everybody wants to win, man. They don't play to lose. It wasn't our night, man. I think this time we can go back and reflect on what we messed up on as a team. And the fans are going to jump off. And one person I'm really fearing for, man. I'm not fearing, but something about Tom, man. He's going through a lot. Praying that the brother, whatever he's going through, man. I see Antonio Brown doing some crazy shit on him. And that's neither here nor there. This man personal shit. Man, I just want to see Tom be well. The whole team, man. And we need to get everybody going, man. We got to be clicking on all four cylinders, every offense and defense. Byron, he's critical. He's known to be real predictive, but he's going to have to get to me. And I ain't no coach. And like old school said, these guys know what they're doing. Half of us know we're just potato couches, just saying, man, you should have did this. But I think these guys going to go back and get this thing done, man. And I ain't going to stay long, man. This is the fastest I've ever been. All right, old school. Shout out to you, my brother. You a real dude, man. Real dude, motherfucking Holyfield. No candy coat shit. You the real motherfucker. You my OG. And this is 5976. Hey, Smitty, I'm out, man. Everybody, I ain't go to sleep. Old school, get some rest, man. You look tired, man. I seen you freezing in the dog. You weren't freezing. You was sleep for real. All right, man. I love you guys, man. I see you. This is the fastest I ever been.
Yeah, wow, great
I fucking love it.
This made me feel better, man.
Hey, it
Sweet
made me feel
dreams.
better, but it also brought back memories that I have to smile on because, like old school said, like Sammer said, like people in the chat, like Stank said, although what Stank says usually is kind of dumb.
Mute that call, Sammer. There you go.
But we can all relate, right? I used to take Bucs losses hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like fuck up my whole week.
Yep.
Hard.
Yep.
And now it's just even when we weren't having the success we're having right now, which is like old school says, enjoy it, hold on to it as long as you can. It's just not the same. Like I used to depression.
I feel
man.
it,
One of the things
that
we realized during the decade of just destruction or whatever, when we started tailgating, we go back to the tailgate afterwards. You guys see this? I don't know how you got your tailgate run this year. I assume there's tear down at the end. Like you saw the tailgates that we used to run. There was a lot of work afterwards. You had 2-3 hours worth of shit. So you'd come back after having your hopes dashed, right? However small they were, like you went there with some sliver of hope, and then it was ground into the ground by horse hooves or some shit, and then pissed all over. And you come back after hearing the Saints chanting "Who dat" and shit as you're leaving the fucking stadium, and you want to kick a dog randomly because fuck that dog, and then of course you're back at the tailgate putting shit away, and you didn't want to put it away. And eventually we realized, you know what? There's a lot of time before the first whistle and after the last whistle. And there's friends, you guys have done it. I've seen you do it as you've continued to structure loose cannons. You've made friends across the world and across the country and across the world. We used to say all the time, we've had births and deaths, marriages and divorces at the tailgate. We've had more experience because of this team as an anchor, right? And so the games matter, but the games are the start, not the end. It's the entertainment. Make no mistake about it. It is not a war. It is fucking fun. We get to go watch the best in the world do something really fucking cool. And right now, we get to watch them win more often than they lose. And that's awesome because bet your ass there's going to be times where you're lucky to get fucking 5 wins, right? So I think that you guys have done an amazing job of building a culture around your brand, and you've built relationships. I saw Shook at the game last night. He came over to say hi. And he talked about going to the tailgate the week before. I've known that motherfucker for like a decade, right? Just because of this crazy shit we do. And you guys are doing the same thing. So I would encourage people to enjoy the game, enjoy the fun, enjoy the beauty that this game provides. It really is a gorgeous game when you think about it. The ability these guys have to do it. They're not the same as us. They're different humans. But don't fucking get caught up in it, and don't let it ruin your whole fucking week. Enjoy it and move the fuck on, because real life, in this state, this game, there are motherfuckers who have nothing left, right? This was entertainment for us. Did we win? No. Was that shitty? Did that impact some of these players? Probably. They're human too. It's not just about them. They're friends, right? So it's just a matter of perspective, because I used to be there, man. It would ruin me for a fucking week. I'd be down and grouchy and pissy and moany. Life's too fucking short for it. Fucking purge the cash on your way to the car, and don't run over a pedestrian on the way home because the fucking TBD can't manage fucking crowd control.
Facts.
I agree.
I also want to say,
kick a dog. I would kick a cow, but go ahead.
I also want to add to that, because a lot of people in the chat have said this at the beginning, and I haven't gotten a chance to say it. But thank you to everyone for your kind words on Twitter and everyone in the chat. I did lose a family member this week. Likely going to lose another one, and I'm going to have to go up out of state. So yeah, life is bigger than football. And it's an escape, right? I was able to go to the game and not have my mind on it for 3-4 hours, and that was awesome. And win or lose, it was still an escape. But there's bigger shit to worry about. So
yep.
I love you guys, and thank you for the kind words. I definitely appreciate it. Take the last caller, bro.
I was going to actually say that to close the show with you, but we saw you, obviously, so we dealt with our
Sorry.
Yes.
I didn't know.
You're good, dude. There's nothing to apologize. That was probably better said than I would have said anyway. All right, last caller. Got to get out of here. 714, I think it's Lewis and SoCal. Lewis and SoCal, you're on the Penthouse Hotline. Go.
Yo, guys. All right. Shitty fucking loss last night. Been a Bucs fan for my 27th season now as a Bucs fan. People need to fucking relax. I mean, the fact that fans were booing the fucking defense off the field last night, these are these Brady fucking morons that are only a fan during Tom's time here. I haven't got the list of the rest of the show. I just got off of work. But, I mean, some of the fucking frustrating seasons I've had to sit through with this team, even years when we were supposed to be competitive. I mean, 98, 2000, 2001, 2003. Extremely frustrating years, frustrating seasons, and had a lot of bad results. But, I mean, the facts, and I'm not making excuses for anyone, but I don't know if it was talked about. I mean, the things that these guys and you all had to go through last week, I mean, this wasn't a normal preparation week for them. I mean, they were in Miami. They had to bring their families different places. I mean, even after the Green Bay game, I mean, that was a really hot fucking game. I heard it from all y'all. I mean, I don't know what type of rehydration they got, if they got their normal recovery process done with, because they were pretty much, from what I heard, they were getting displaced right after that game last week. But there were, even with the loss and how much we lost.
They got you, bro. They got you.
Lewis, you got to hang up. Go.
Run.
Go.
They finally found you, bro. They finally got you.
Are you in Inglewood? Where are you right now?
Actually, yeah, that's where I do work. I work in England. But,
Yep.
Up to no good. Are you up to no good?
We know those sirens.
That's just normal sirens around this motherfucking place, man. It's all good. But it was a disappointing loss, but with a lot of negatives, there were still a lot of positives. I thought the offense moved the ball really well. I thought Tom looked really fucking good. I'd like to see a little bit out of a run game, but Tristan looked good. I thought Donovan looked good. Hainsey looked really good. Shaq looks great. Chris got nicked up a little, but I think he's going to build that callus up, and he's going to get back to where he's at. But, I mean, that's a tough fucking football team over there, and you're not going to beat a lot of teams. You fumble the ball on your 20-yard line and give Patrick Mahomes 2 20-yard drives. I mean, that's 14 points right there that you're giving them automatically. Not a lot of teams are going to win those games. The boys, they're going to dust it off. They're not going to worry about what these fucking morons online. I mean, I didn't even hear people talking all this shit on Shaq Barrett. I mean, my God, this guy's motor was, from what I saw on TV, his motor was going strong all fucking night. I mean, he's still playing like a guy who's still playing on a prove-it fucking deal. So people need to fucking shut the fuck up on that. I mean, there were so many egregious penalties going on, but I mean, it's okay. We're gonna dust ourselves off. We're gonna come back. We're not like some teams that get blown out by the fucking Carolina Panthers, but that's for another topic. We're gonna come back. We're gonna beat the shit out of fucking Atlanta this Sunday. It's gonna be rocking. Keep your heads up. It's all right. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. I think Lewis made a good point there, guys, as well. Us Floridians here have, and I want to be careful with the context that I use this, but we've come a little bit desensitized to these hurricanes, and we've been very blessed here in the Bay Area. But to think that wouldn't affect them mentally, it's not an excuse. You would be naive, because I was preparing myself and shit in my pants, and then at the last minute shifted. So even though they evacuated, you have homes here, and you have property, and you have like, you would be naive to think that it wasn't somewhere in the back of their mind. And holy shit, we dodged a bullet, and we're displaced, and now we're going back to our facility. They're human beings, and like Old School said, they're not like us. They're gifted. They're aliens, but they're still human beings.
They also have extended families too, so they're not just worried about themselves, but also not every one of these guys is like Tom or some of the higher end players that have guys that take care of shit for them. You know, if something happens to JTS's, his mom's place, JTS is the guy who has to take care of it and has to be there with his mom, and not that she's not capable herself, but that they are decision makers at that point. It's not like they're, oh yeah, dude, go fucking figure it out. You know what the fuck? They don't all have those handlers, that take care of shit. So they're
heads of houses. They're heads.
Yeah,
of we might going on, and not just their own house, extended family. Like there's ripples to that whole thing. So yeah, it is a good point. I didn't really think of it that way, and.
Yeah, and Latte, we might be desensitized to it, but they're not. I promise you, a lot of those guys aren't Floridians. You know what I mean?
Venus from Washington and Hawaii. Like what?
Right. That was some scary shit, and I've been here my whole life. And I was down in Fort Myers area today, dude. It's
look.
There's no words, man.
I got a friend of mine that works in insurance.
It's pretty fucked up down there. Like there is stuff that will never be the same again. Or
a friend of mine works in insurance.
Visible.
He sent me this picture today. That's somebody's house. That's water.
Yeah, I've seen it.
No, I mean,
yeah.
Like Old School said, man. Old School said it best, dude. It was just football. This is entertainment. It sucks to lose. Bigger things in life, right?
Yep. Old School. Hope you and your family made it out. Go ahead.
If you guys will allow me 5 minutes for one final story, I'll take it. If you can't, I'll understand.
No, go ahead.
The floor is yours, bro.
Close out the show, man.
So, and because I was an asshole and yelling at all the entitled fans and grumpy and get off my lawn, because that's sort of who I am now. But the part we've gotten into now is, I think, a lot more important, because this is a thing that brings us together. My friend Cheryl, who goes by Spent, used to say if it wasn't for porn and football, half of us wouldn't know each other because we have nothing else in common, right? And it was fascinating because then you start going through the checklist of people at tailgate. You're like, oh, fuck, porn, football, porn, right? You're like, yeah, she's probably right. But we went to New Orleans for the game in New Orleans, right? And you guys have been to New Orleans, I believe. It's an amazing place. I've been there 15 of the last 18 years. The band at a particular bar we've known for 10 years, right? But probably not had more than 10 minutes of conversation with them. And this time I had a chance to converse with them. They came down. One of the guys had a flag we had given him 5 years ago. He remembered us. He's like, oh, I'll bring the flag in, right? We're hanging out, chatting. And we talked about the reason I went back. And I went back because when I went the year after Katrina, the city connected with me so much because everyone thanked me for coming and trusting the city. It wasn't about the winning or losing at the game. They wanted to win. I think we actually lost that year, but it was the connection that I felt. And when I told that story, this man who's probably 60, lead singer for a band, started to cry. And he remembered Katrina. And he's like, man, you know what? That means a lot. He goes, I'm sorry to cry. I look like a little bitch here, but it still hits me. And the drummer came down and we were chatting and he goes, hey, how's Miss Jackie? Now, I don't know if you guys know, you don't know our crew that well, but we had a crew member that we lost this year. Jackie lost her fight with cancer. He didn't know that. He hadn't seen her because of the pandemic. Now, this is a man who we hadn't seen in years, who we have no right to know anything about, who shouldn't know anything about us. He didn't know about Cody, her son, passing away the year before that. And he sat there and cried with us about these people that passed. We only know them because of football. We have an incredible opportunity to get to know people we would not otherwise know because of our little bubbles, because of this great game that brings us together. And I promise you, if you think for 10 minutes, you'll think of someone in your life who means more than you can probably articulate, that you know because of this great game we get to enjoy. And sometimes it's celebration because we win, and sometimes it's anger and kicking a cow, as Sammer recommends, if we lose. But it is beautiful at all times. All times.
I can speak for all of us when I say I'm lucky to know the three of you because of football.
Yeah, we wouldn't know each other.
The three of you legitimately, both from one of the first people that reached out to me was Old School. And These guys are like my brothers, and it's because of football.
Yeah, people often ask how we met. Like they think we've known each other our whole lives. Like I lived a minute and a half from Latte and didn't know him.
In Land Lakes, no idea.
Yeah, we could have been backyard neighbors. Honestly, I could open my sliding glass door, ran through the woods, and ended up in his backyard. That's how close we lived to each other. Didn't know each other until we connected as Bucs fans. And I no longer.
I actually stood behind you at a training camp one time, and I hated the fact that you were standing up on this like little bit of a hill, and I couldn't see around you. And I was like, "This guy's a piece of shit. What's he doing trying to be taller than everybody else?" And I left and walked away. Years later, I'm like,
what do you mean, bro?
That's that same
look,
asshole.
Me overshadowing you then, just like now.
Oh, boom!
Okay. Sure,
I know me and Sammer knew each other too. I was like, "That's a really nice manicured beard," and he's like, "Likewise." And it's
our beards magnetized to each other. It was just, I was like, I think I love this man.
Your beard looks like that fucking Etch-a-Sketch beard, dude. Bro. Like you shake it and then like the magnetic shit.
Oh, fuck.
I have not been fading it. I've been just letting it grow. I think I like it this way more. I think I know what I'm slowly becoming. DJ Khaled completely now. All I have to do now is just eat whatever the fuck I want.
And just become morbidly obese?
Except for.
No, I'm eating cake.
The Khaled joke, he doesn't go down on women, right? I mean, no one knows that joke.
I didn't know that.
He doesn't.
Oh, I'm the only one that's hip enough to know that? Damn.
You didn't know that about DJ Khaled, bro?
Look at old school dropping DJ Khaled facts on Sammer that he doesn't know.
I knew that.
I didn't think anybody in 2022 was like that. I feel like that's like the best thing to eat.
Hey, can we get a poll in the chat?
Why do you think my beard is so?
No, I'm just kidding.
Why do you think my beard is so like moisturized?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would almost rather do that, bro. Just let's just go. Oh man, I fucking love it. I gotta. Hey, the show's over, bro. Let's go. Kids are asleep.
I certainly sidetracked this show.
This was actually one of the more focused episodes we've ever had. Old school.
Yeah. We actually talked football this episode.
We didn't talk about Johnson.
We rarely ever do.
Or our punter's massive schlong. We didn't do any of that tonight.
Our punter doesn't deserve to be talked about.
His third leg got in the way this past week.
He had one bad punt, bro. Well, a bad kickoff too. Yeah,
a bad kickoff, two bad punts.
Rookie, he had a bad game. Our rookies, all of our rookies, bad games.
They're rookies. I think they're recovering from the heat. Anyway,
No Saint says not going down on a woman is so late 80s.
Thank you.
Only you can answer that, old school. I mean, was that a thing in the 80s? What?
80s?
Yeah. Dude, in the 80s, I was 8. Dude, I'm not that old. Shit.
Maybe maybe you matured quicker than most 8-year-olds. You never know.
But when you were 8, you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna eat.
No, it's all right.
Sammer deflowered his babysitter when he was 8. He tells us the story all the time.
He did. He was 8 years old.
I thought that's when he was 4. So it was a different story.
Hey, Dub does make a good point, and let's get the fuck out of here. He said he did have a decent tackle, though. You guys remember at the combine he ran a 4.5. He was the punter ran the 4.5. If not,
it was a nice tackle.
Big ass tackle, bro. That fucking that kick returner takes that shit back.
And the bad kick was after the tackle. Maybe he hurt himself.
I want to watch a replay, see if he actually tripped the runner with his,
with his dick.
So you're saying he put it out there like a spike thing, like the spike thing?
Yeah, just like a little fucking
spike strip.
The spike strip that the cops put out with the chase. That's what he did. He's like, watch this.
His is more like a speed bump, probably, but yeah, more like a fence.
He's like, yeah, it was the turf monster.
Yeah,
a monster, all
definitely
right.
A monster, buddy.
Yeah,
I just camarted all over your face.
I do not understand how you guys know so much about this guy's junk, but good on you.
Listen,
you haven't seen him walk, bro. It looks like he has a hand warmer.
Yeah,
Watch him walk. Watch him walk.
Derek, would
his
you go?
Thighs. Hey, look, his thighs have never touched each other ever, and they never. His knees have never touched each other.
Old school. When you go to training camp, you go to watch football. We go to watch different things, man.
Guy's got a fucking pool noodle between his legs. Old school, all right. He's a fucking flotational device, man. Come on.
I believe you.
That thing is a Loch Ness monster and a floaty. It's unbelievable. Makes no goddamn sense. Nothing about his body is proportionate. It's amazing, honestly. How we don't talk about it. We'd be doing a disservice at that point.
It needs to be talked about.
Listen, we don't often share this kind of information, but Jason Light told us that's why he drafted him.
He doesn't shower with the team. He showers separately, bro. Like the whole Tom's like, nope, I'm not going in there.
No way. You're gonna fucking
there,
make
bro.
me. Yeah, that's the only time Tom's ever felt like.
Yeah,
he was
you don't
an
want to
alpha
see him in the
locker room.
pool in Dubai stretching his dick out, bro. You don't want to see that shit.
You want to do that?
Hey, old school talked about big balls. Hey, Jason Light's like big dick, big balls, automatic. Let's go draft that motherfucker right now.
Draft him.
Put the
End the
card
show.
in. Absolutely.
And the
Go
show right now.
Bucs.
Part of the team. Part of the team, man. Gotta tell you, part of the team.
Welcome to Tampa Bay. We welcome.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 on a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the